What up, fam? We got another skate hacks video today. Today we're going over backside 360s. So back in the day I used to do a lot of backside 360s, but I didn't do them like I do them now. And because of that, I couldn't really do them on flat. I'd have to pivot it all the time. And the only time my back threes really worked was when I was doing them down gaps. Even then, some days I had them, some days I didn't. So I figured out this is a better way to back three. It's good on flat. It's good for stair sets and gaps. It's just a good way to back three all around. So, like I said, I have friends who do back threes differently, but it's not so good for flat grounds. This is a good all around way to just learn backside 360s, to have it on flat ground and then take it to gaps and stairs. So let's get into it. So for a backside 360, this is how I set up. So you'll see it looks kind of like a tray flip. It's almost like me setting up for a regular tray flip. So you'll see my back foot is, my toes are really hanging off the front there. So why is that? Why are my feet in that position? Well, it's in that position almost like a tray flip because I'm going to be scooping like a tray flip or a three shove like you would for those tricks. And so I'm going to wind up my shoulders, as you can see, twist with it and just scoop fast like a tray flip to where the board spins 360 and I'm kind of like staying in the same position in the air. I'm not really moving over too much. So I'm just going to be scraping the tail off the ground and kind of staying almost in the same position in the air while just spinning. So the front foot may or may not come off. It doesn't really matter because the back foot is the key to a backside 360. That back foot is going to be guiding it around the entire time. And that's why it's important that you have your toes hanging off when you set up. Because some people would say, well, why do you have to have your toes hanging off that much? Can't you just put your back foot in a normal position? Well, let's see what happens when you do that. When you put your back foot in a normal position for the back three and you scoop the back three, it's more likely that your back foot is going to slip off the board, and that's something you do not want. That back foot needs to stay on the entire time. The front foot, it could stay on or it could come off. It just really depends. It doesn't really matter. So the back foot needs to stay on the entire time. So that's why it's better that you have those toes hanging off so that you can scoop and the toes can push it and guide it around. A good example of a backside 360 is Trevor Colden. He has amazing backside 360s. And if you see him backside 360ing this gap here, notice how he's scooping. He has the scoop. It's a pretty big gap. He has the hang time. He doesn't have to scoop so hard, but he's still scooping, and it makes it so effortless. So look at the board. It's almost primo in the air. It's not flat. It's almost primo. Why is that? Because he needs the back foot to be guiding the board around. So he's push the board up and push it around. So the backside 360 isn't going to be a flat plane 360. It's going to be inverted somewhat. So notice how the toes are going to come up and around and guide it around the whole entire time until you get back to your normal position. You complete the 360 and you land back on it. So this is a great way to do backside 360s because you don't really have to pivot. You don't have to worry about pivoting so much. All you got to do is really wind up and get that scrape on the back tail like you would for a tray flip. For a three shove, you want to get that scrape on the tail. So for a backside 360, you want to set up similar to a tray flip. You want to wind up and you just want to scoop it. You want to scoop it and have that back foot guide it and push it around. It's going to be kind of inverted. It's not going to be flat. The board's going to do a 360 in an inverted manner, and that's a good thing. So with this way of doing back threes, it becomes easy to complete the rotation on flat. It may be hard at first because you're not used to it, but once you get used to scooping, it's not going to be a big deal. So those are my tips for backside 360s on flat. Set up like a tray flip, make sure those toes are hanging off, get a good wind up, and get a really good scoop. And you may get dizzy trying this, but it's definitely worth it and you'll get used to it. So like I said, check out Trevor Colden, Tyson Bowerbank, anyone else who does a really good 360. They use the same approach. they have the back foot in the scooping position. They scoop it, and it makes it so effortless, especially when you have more hang time on gaps and ramps, etc. It just makes it really easy. So those are my tips for backside 360. Comment down below for any other tricks and tips you want me to go over in skateboarding. Thank you guys for watching. Keep eating plants, and I'll see you next time.